want me?
I'll give you a poke if I want you. I'll give you a Pokemon if I want you.
Give me a slow poke.
Yeah. Uh, hello everyone. We're here with the WPF Drought Power Rankings, I guess, or something.
That's right. Every single person who watches the Nuzlocke videos will be watching this video.
Yeah,
Everyone.
no, that'll be. I'll see what that'll do to my channel. That'll be fun. Yeah, we're back here with the Droughts, and I've got a co-host today. My name's Keith, and I've got a co-host. And say hello, co-host.
Hello, I am the Mancini the Amazing from the Mancini the Amazing
you.
YouTube
I was
channel.
talking to someone right next to me. Say hi, Jay. Say hi.
Hi.
Yeah, see, there we go. We've also got
That's
some
right.
fucking tagger on it called Mancini the Amazing.
I thought you were the tagger on. You're just here to like do the system stuff.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just admin. Yeah, we're doing power rankings for Drought. Enjoy that.
So, Drought this season is Indigo Disc, Regulation F. So that means no Ogerpon, Miraidon, Koraidon, and any of the other Pokemon classically banned from. No, Ogerpon's legal. Sorry, it's
Yeah, Ogerpon
Terrapagos.
is definitely legal.
And no Pecharunt, but and then any Pokemon that has classically not been legal in Draft, but a very, very wide range of Pokemon. I mean, if you look at like the board and what's left, there are just an obscene number of Pokemon still left that are of like all sorts of quality.
Very, very high power level format. So, there's a couple of very high power level teams. But let's go ahead and get this ranking out of the way. So, 16th, someone has to be 16th, unfortunately. And that's I Miss Dad with Wondrous Odium. So this is like it's weird to put the Iron Hands team last, because I think Iron Hands is the best Pokemon in the
We
format.
will note that Iron Hands is better than every single other team on this list combined. However, unfortunately, it is being let down by the fact that its team does not synergize with it particularly well.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind, sorry.
I was just playing drums with my music.
I have someone next to me, by the way, while I'm recording this, so... Yeah,
So what was Jay's comment for...
Oh, she was playing the drums. Actually,
No,
Jay,
for this one?
what's your favorite Pokemon here? It's very important analysis.
Empoleon.
Empoleon, why is it your favorite
Okay.
one?
Penguin.
There you go. So that's pretty good.
Okay.
Penguin's good. I'm going to talk about the bad stuff, the good stuff of this team first. So it's got very premium Slowmons. Like, it's got a really good sort of, like... It's got some premium Slowmons, well, specifically Iron Hands. But it doesn't have a great Trick Room setter, so I think this is more of a Tailwind team. And it does have Talonflame, which is sort of an excellent setter of that. But it doesn't have that much else outside of that, I think. I think the typing defensively is really meh as well, because Empoleon kind of needs to come most weeks to check most types. Like, it's
The brief comment is,
to, I think,
Empoleon
Ice.
and Landorus Therian do cover all of each other's weaknesses perfectly.
Yeah, they
Unfortunately, they're both flawed Pokemon.
I mean, I don't know if I'd say Landorus Therian's that much more, like, is as flawed as Empo, but it's more just that...
But it is a flawed Pokemon.
I think it's just more that you're going to bring the top 6 every week, because...
Well, I don't know. Yeah, does the top 6 include Stanler in your view?
No.
Okay.
But,
I
like,
think Stanler may have to come a significant amount of time. My general problem with Empoleon, Daxblin, and Alolan Muck on this team is that, unlike Stanler, they're low tiers which do not provide a great degree of utility. This team would appreciate some greater utility. You know, a Pokemon that is an Iron Hands that is like a good Fake Out user, for example. But, you know, a lot of things, you know, like it's got really high power redirection in Ogerpon, but then if you want to use Ogerpon effectively, you don't really have a lot to support it outside of, okay, you get Tailwind. But you do have 3 Tailwind setters sort of sitting on this team. So picking up some of that, like really like a good screen setter, potentially some prankster support, anything to sort of even deter like special attackers and the like. I feel like all of that are things that would have been appreciated out of like Empo, Daxblin, and Muck slots, where you got some of that with Stantler, with the bonus intimidate, with the Trick Room, and some of the other support options it has. But the main thing this team is missing out is utility. It's got a lot of redundancy in a lot of the things it does. Like I said, 3 Tailwind setters in a row.
Yeah, and like I think as said, this is a very like high power level format. there are some very good
Yeah.
teams. So this has some very individually tough ones. As I said, Iron Hand is like the best Pokemon in the format. Ogerpon, your premium sort of follow me, that sort of stuff.
Hydreigon's
like,
not bad.
Yeah, Hydreigon.
Lando's
stuff.
not bad.
Yeah, like none of these.
Um,
I don't think
but
this.
yeah, like,
team's
if you
full
look at
bad
Iron Hands
Pokemon,
here,
it just doesn't
well,
synergize that well.
yeah. They have one Fairy Resist, which is Empoleon, who is not particularly good. No, that's not true. Talonflame also resists Fairy. No, what was the Empoleon the only resist? Oh, Ice.
Ice, and I think
Yeah.
a couple of other things. I think
So of their top tiers, 3 of them are weak to Ice: Lando, Ogerpon, and Hydreigon, and they have 1 Ice Resist, who is Empoleon.
yeah, I think it's also the only resist to some other types. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. I didn't write it down. But like with type resistances in VGC, you just want like 2 of them, and that's fine. They don't need to be amazing. You kind of want 2, and 1's a bit tough because then it really sort of limits your ability to play defensively. But like,
If your opponent looks at that, they have 1 Pokemon that has that type, and then they can run Terra Blast that type on another Pokemon, and then just break through your team. Because if Empoleon's on the field, they know they can always launch an Ice Beam into the partner slot, and it will either ding into a Protect, or it will do a significant amount of damage, or it will force a Terra. And all 3 of those are good for what is like a decent utility coverage move. Like, you rarely lose something by clicking Ice Beam into a slot.
yeah. Oh well. But yeah, I don't know.
So,
Still just decent
it's
Pokemon.
fine.
Like,
It's a team. These teams, none of these teams are genuinely bad. They're just teams with different levels of flaws and different degrees of synergy. I would say that the lack of synergy on this team is what I would be predominantly concerned with.
As it turns out, yeah, like it's just the sort of, this is a format where it's really hard to have truly bad teams. So like, I know it's lost, but this is.
I think you could draft the monotype team in this format and not feel bad.
Yeah. So like, this is still a decent enough team. Just someone's got to be lost. But yeah, moving on. Is there anything else you want to say, or do you want to move on, or?
Look, ultimately they could definitely perform fine this season. I just think that they have to put way more work into getting through this than most Iron Hands teams have to.
Yeah. Oh well, at 15 we have Jod with the, I think it's pronounced Zanarkand. It's been a while since I played that game. Zanarkand Zacians. Zanarkand, obviously the flooded city from Final Fantasy X, the one destroyed by Sin in the opener. Yeah.
And
so,
who's Sin?
Sin is a giant whale, effectively.
No, I know what Sin is, but whose Sin is it?
It's yours.
No, yours. You're the one playing the game.
Well,
That's sort of like the message of the Final Fantasy X.
It is a sin to play Final Fantasy games. So this team,
Except for only any of the games after 7, like 7 and onwards, it's a sin. 6 is okay, 5's okay, 1 to 4 are good, right?
9's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't say that. I mean, like 7's a really good game, but it's a sin to play it.
So yeah,
9's is 9 the one I'm thinking of?
9's the one that's very styled after the first couple.
Yeah, no, I remember 9.
It's got VV in it.
I'm terrible with numbers with these things, which is really terrible for a game like a series like Final Fantasy, where there's so much in numbers. Which is the one which is like super edgy?
13?
8.
8. 13's pretty.
I mean, Final Fantasy 14 is pretty edgy,
Look,
but that might be down to who I'm playing it with.
Let's not talk about Final Fantasy. Let's talk about George's team. This team is just like all the sudden Pokemon on a team, and then him on top. And
okay, before we get into any details, we need the most important analysis from Jay.
Oh yeah. Hey Jay, what's your favorite Pokemon here? Very important.
Probably Mischievous.
And why Mischievous?
One of the only ones I know.
There you go. Alrighty, Mischievous.
It's like Electabuzz and Dodrio there from Gen 1.
No, well, Mischievous. Those guys are nerds. Mischievous. Yeah, so like this is a Sun team, and this is kind of a bit of a classic Torkoal Chiyu core with like Walking Wake. That's a top 3.
The classic Torkoal Chiyu, Lilligant, Hitmontop, Grey Tusk core. Everyone knows that the core thing you want on a Sun team is 3 fighting types.
Yeah, so
especially when you have half a flying
Look,
resist.
what I want to talk about with this team is that this team has, like, yeah, it's got a lot of good sun abusers, but it's got 3 fighting types for some reason, which is a bit weird.
And walking wake.
Yeah, and walking wake, but then also, like, doesn't have anything really outside of sun offense.
It doesn't have like a jump bluff for Tailwind, right? It has Dodrio for Tailwind, which he's going to make it difficult to set Tailwind reliably. This thing will kill every team, right? Like
Yeah.
there is not a team that will be able to take the hits. The question is if the other teams will be able to pressure it out first, which is always the question that you have with the Torkoal team, is how good is my turn 1? And I think this team really struggles to have consistently good turn 1s. It'll be like, okay, my opponent has Frisk, so they can see which of the Torkoal and the Lilliant is Covert Cloak, and if neither of them are, well, they get faked out. I don't have a turn 1, and also my Torkoal takes like 80%.
Yeah, and it's like...
And then all of a sudden my like lead things here.
It's also a very
it doesn't
linear
have...
team. Like, it's a very linear team, so you kind of makes it a lot easier to prep for, because it's got like one major game plan.
Yeah, and it's like, I would like to set up Trick Room. I will lead Electabuzz and Mischievous, and neither which one will have the EVO light? No one knows.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Electabuzz.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't
It's a team that I
joy.
feel like would benefit from having a premium Tailwind setter or Trick Room setter,
Yeah.
but it has budget on both. Mischievous is by no means bad. Dodrio is by many means bad. It's no Firo, if you guys remember my Man in the Mirror video where we discussed Firo and how great it is.
Right.
Him on top is great support, but it doesn't make any sense on this team.
What's like...
Torkoal is not a Pokemon that benefits particularly much from Tailwinds, from Fake Out support. And Mischievous is a Pokemon that can still struggle to set up Trick Room when paired with Fake Out, because you're then running Mental Herb, or you're running Eviolite, or you're running Sash, and you're at the risk of getting KO'd if you don't have Eviolite and getting taunted if you do.
Yeah, like, no. I love to fight as much as the next guy, but 3 fighting types is a bit much. Like, as you said...
Especially, again, on a team with 1 flying resist.
Yeah, and, like... Wait, it's got 1 flying resist, 1 normal resist, 1 fighting resist, 1 psychic resist,
1 fairy resist,
and 0 dragon resist. I actually wrote it
At least
down.
At least the psychic one's an immunity.
Yeah, but this is a team that really gets blown up
because this
by
team
a
is
lot of other
so
types if they get advantage over it.
This team has very little in terms of comeback mechanics. It's got an incredible if you can position it effectively, like if you can outplay your opponent turn 1, you're in a very strong position. Like, I do think that Chiyu is a Pokemon that benefits a lot from Hitmontop Fake Out, right? And from Intimidate. Like, you put defense on Chiyu and pair it with Intimidate, it doesn't die to like CZs. But you're having to ask a lot because they don't have these like things. Like, they don't have like a Flutter, which is naturally outspeeding like the opponent's Regieleki,
Yeah.
So, and in the absence of that, you really want to be switching Torkoal a lot with this team to be able to get the thing, but then you don't really have Pokemon outside of Hitmontop that you like switching in the Torkoal slot. Whereas if you had a more reliable way to get Torkoal onto the field in Trick Room, you maybe would feel less pressured on it, or if you didn't just have the Lilliant Torkoal lead.
Yeah. No, I think
so it's a team that will kill everything. Nothing will survive, but you often need more than just being able to threaten to KO the opponent's Pokemon, especially with a team that has compromise on the speed control, right?
Mm-hmm.
With premium speed control, it would be better.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way of putting it. Just, again, scary team, but very one-dimensional in how it plays, and just some issues defensively, and it just isn't the...
And having 2
from what we see,
like really important support Pokemon both be Eviolite users, even though one of them provides the support that the other one needs, so you want to have both of them on the field. It makes an extra degree of annoyingness. Also, Electabuzz is literally the worst of the Follow Me Pokemon except the Ogapons, I suppose, to support Trick Room setting. Well, I'd say Sturdy Ogapon Cornerstone is still better, even because it's just fast, so it won't benefit from being in Trick Room.
Fair enough. Like, consider...
Right, 105?
Yeah, it's 105.
Yeah, so slower than the Ogapons, but Cornerstone has Sturdy, which is nice. I wouldn't say the other ones are better, though. Well, maybe Wellspring, it's really hard to kill. But, like, other than the Ogapons, Electabuzz is probably the worst Follow Me Pokemon to support Trick Room.
Anyway,
So-
anything else you want to talk about, or?
No, this team can kill stuff, but it is really
Yeah.
doesn't like getting killed first.
Yeah, like we can just talk about how much it kills stuff, right? Like Chiyu just
Yeah.
like ruins everyone's def as well. So
If you
just
if you have Torkoal
takes
and then you switch the
everything.
Torkoal out, you lead Torkoal Walking Wake, right?
Yeah.
You switch the Torkoal out, bring in Chiyu. You're speed boosting Walking Wake with like a Covert Cloak, and then as the Chiyu comes in, you get the. So you've gotten the speed boost, and now you also get the like Life Orb almost Chiyu boost, and then you KO a Pokemon, and then next turn you KO a Pokemon with both of your slots.
Yeah.
And then they have one Pokemon left. The unfortunate thing is that your opponent has like several moves in that time.
Yeah, and they kind of know that that's
I-
likely going to
I think Walking Wake synergizes of all of the photosynthesis mons. I think Walking Wake particularly synergizes better with Ninetales than Torkoal, because it really appreciates having a fast offensive Pokemon to pair with it, so that it can run special boosting more frequently.
Okay. Alrighty.
Now, you might think, based on what we said, that I got the logos for two teams mixed up. This is not correct. Shush.
Number 14. It is Dolphin Slayer with
Illuminati.
Yeah, I watched Goblin Slayer. I don't appreciate that this person is doing the same thing to Dolphins.
Well, you know, dolphins are they are
A girl's
evil.
best friend.
They are
That
they
is
are
true.
s-
I remember the epic rap battles of history feature in SpongeBob the movie too.
I mostly just remember that one Simpsons
Did
episode
you
where
watch
the dolphins.
the-
The dolphins,
did
they
you-
just wanted it more.
Okay,
But I
but
ended
do you
up
remember
watch.
in the SpongeBob the movie too when they had the epic rap battles of history scene with the evil dolphin? Because that's the thing that
So
happens.
I'm in my late 20s. I have not seen the second SpongeBob movie. I have
Did you
seen
see the first one?
and that's it.
Okay, well, see, that's where the problem lies. You're a
Alrighty.
coward. Now, what's Jay's thoughts?
Okay, we've got a very important. What is your favorite Pokemon here?
Wait,
Very important.
what's Iron Bundle?
It's like
Robot Delibird.
yeah, Delibird from the future, effectively.
Ooh. Yes, Delibird.
Okay, future Delibird, Iron Bundle. Alright, important.
Okay.
Very
I'm
important.
heartbroken to hear that as an Illumise stan.
So this team is like a sort of speed control-y, rainy team. It's very hyper.
That's not even what Shiny Rayquaza looks like. Isn't it grey
I don't know.
and yellow?
But yeah, like it's kind of just a very good hyper offense team from what I can tell here. They got
I suppose it's
Incineroar to
Mega
fake out
Rayquaza.
stuff to like help support, like the Lead Iron Bundle click Icy Winds and Illumise put up its shit, and then you've got like Spectria to hit people in the face. Metagross is a strong guy. There's
Oh,
a
we had
bunch
different
of pretty strong Pokemon. It just kind of, I think.
So this team has a lot of mons that are really premium, sort of mid-rangey Pokemon.
Yeah.
That they're okay tempo, but they're so good in mid-range and often not as amazing in late game. Illumise is a great support for a mid-range archetype. Metagross and Spectria, I think, were last generation probably two of the best and like most signature mid-range mons. Incineroar is a Pokemon that is really splashable into any type, but being a Pokemon that is attempting to intimidate and fake out cycle fits very naturally into a mid-range archetype. And an Iron Bundle is a Pokemon which, when you are supporting it by dropping defenses, can actually take a surprising number of physical hits with it when paired with Intimidate, and then is able to abuse in the mid-range as well as use Encore to pressure opposing Pokemon in that situation. And then, like Kingdra, you can set Rain for, and it's okay. I don't know why Hydrapple's on this team.
I'm thinking it should be a little higher, to be honest.
Really? Because the issue we have with this team is that it's a team that has a bunch of Pokemon that benefit from being able to be switched next to, or from Incineroar and switching out, but doesn't have anything that likes to switch in at all. Like Hydrapple has regen, so it also likes to switch out. But let's be honest, which of these Pokemon do you want to switch Hydrapple into the slot of?
Yeah,
I don't really think you want to switch into the Incineroar slot, because there's one. So it resists ground that hits Incin super effectively.
Like, it doesn't have a great sort of synergistic defensive type combo, is what you're trying to say.
They have one Fairy resist.
Yeah.
If Metagross is on the field, you throw your Moonblast or your Play Rough into the other slot, and then the Pokemon dies. They have one Dragon resist. You throw a Draco into that slot, and then the Pokemon that
What do you mean,
the
they've got
Insane
Comic?
switched into dies.
We got
Um,
Comic.
Sorry, you're correct. They have the immunity as well.
Yeah.
But you know, like, the double Dark type is Psychic resists. This is a team which or like it's either going to be overusing Carving, is what you're saying, or just struggling to support its really premium mid-range mons in the ways that make them most effective. A team of a team of 4. Most teams of 4 of this don't strike me as particularly synergistic, despite the fact that a lot of teams of 2 on this strike me as very synergistic.
Yeah, I think it's like it's a lot of pairs of 2 that
Like, Metagross and Spectre are a great pair of 2. What they do does not vibe with what Incineroar does. It can maybe vibe with what Iron Bundle does, really depends on matchup. But like, what they do does not vibe with what Incineroar does. What they do does not vibe with what Illumise does. What they do does not vibe with what Carpink does.
Yeah.
I don't know what Hydrapple says well enough, but I would imagine, look at what maybe like a Scarf Hydrapple after is fine, in the same way that a Kingdra is. I don't know why both of them are on the team.
Yeah, I think that's
And like,
a good summary.
hey, Illumise Kingdra, and then what, you follow up with another Kingdra in Bundle in Rain? And then like what, Metagross, because it's a Pokemon that was weak to fire previously. It's okay. It just doesn't strike me as particularly strong or game winning. Like, the modes don't interlock into each other in a way that is super that doesn't feel very natural. It's not like a 2-2-2 team where all of the game plans of those have strong Pokemon on the field that benefit from being next to each other and click damaging moves, right? This is built like structured like a 2-2-2 team, but all of the Pokemon are using combos that, like, you know, you don't want to click Bulldoze next to Metagross and then they KO the Metagross and then you bring Iron Bundle in and then you're like, okay, I've got my Bulldoze Spectre here.
Yeah.
Iron Bundle's already faster than them. Like, it didn't benefit from your opponents getting bulldozed.
Yeah, although
Incense probably still slower, right? Illumise is using Prankster. Kingdra is relying on Rain. I don't know what Hydrapple does.
I don't know what's the Fickle Beam. It's like ability where it's like it just.
Oh
has
no, you
X
just run
amount of
Draco, right?
chance to, like,
It's a
do more
30%
damage.
chance to be 160 base power, but it's mostly 80 base power,
Okay.
which is weaker than Dragon Balls.
That's such a meme.
Like, I don't know if it's a meme. It's just like, okay, fair enough,
Yeah.
whatever.
Alrighty.
I don't care.
I think
Yeah.
I think that's a good sort of summary
So,
of it.
yeah,
But yeah, it's
that's
still a
it, so-
decent team. Like, just it's got
Yeah, I
some
mean, look,
synergy
all the
issues.
twos are great.
Yeah.
This team has my thoughts with this team is, man, it looks like it would have like a lot of really good late games, but I don't see the transition where you take advantage of having had a really strong lead to turn that into being able to lock out a game at the end.
Yeah, it's like the
And you know,
middle turns are the suspect ones where the start and the end.
if this team was in Dynamax, I think this team would be really good. But this team isn't in Dynamax. This team is in what is in many ways a vanilla meta game. But in other ways, Terastallization can make what it does even harder, because Spectre, and then they randomly bust out the Pterodark, and then your Metagross can't Psychic Fang it, and your Spectre can't Shadow Ball it. And you're like, okay, well, that's not great.
Hey, Metagross did get Psychic Fang. That's fun.
Yes, Metagross is very, very good.
It's a great one. Anyway, then next we got 13 Void, the Pittsburgh Pawniard. This is a team. It is a Psychic Terrain team, which is pretty cool. DD and Hatterene are a bit of a classic ladder core. We disagreed a lot on the goodness of Iron Valiant here. I quite like it, and you don't.
I have very, I think that this team has several Pokemon that I would cut and then put several other Pokemon on it. So Iron Valiant is on this team because it is the fast expanding Force user. Hatterene is on this team because it is the slow expanding Force user.
Yeah,
Both these Pokemon got access to expanding Force in the DLC.
Yeah, but Iron Valiant...
Indeedee did not. Indeedee female did not. Indeedee male did get access to expanding Force. Now, then they picked up Fiery Wrath. They picked up Moltres Galar, who uses Fiery Wrath. And that's also a spread move, which is blocked by Wide Guard. Also, Hatterene doesn't get Moonblast, so you're using Dazzling Gleam, or potentially Alluring Voice, but generally Dazzling Gleam. And Indeedee's generally using often using Hyper Voice or Dazzling Gleam. And also Iron Valiant is often using Dazzling Gleam. And Toxtricity is often using Overdrive or Boom Burst. And you know,
Oh, actually,
there's just so many moves that are blocked by
hold up
by Wide Guard.
before we continue much further. I've got a very
yeah, Jay.
important job
Yep.
for you, Jay. What is the best Pokemon here?
Is that all Genos ever?
No. It kind of looks like it does kind of look like
I
the
genuinely
Volta Dino.
thought it was like a regional Audino when they first released it.
Yeah, it's a DDF is what she pointed out, by the way.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, so she's picking it.
yeah.
Yeah,
so-
obviously she meant
no,
Audino,
still
not Hatterene.
deciding.
I'm tossing
Okay.
between Snorlax and Raichu.
Small X
Raichu.
or Raichu?
Raichu,
Alrighty.
Raichu. Note that she
Small
can't hear
X.
me.
Okay.
Okay.
I was leaning towards it because I have his pillar.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. That's why small X it is. Because
Okay.
she owns a
Coward.
pillar with it. Alrighty. So, what were you talking about? Where were we?
Yeah. So, I just feel like a lot of these Pokemon are sort of redundant or annoying.
Yeah, I think I like.
It feels like if a team is okay into Expanding Force or has access to a good Wide Guard Pokemon, or it's just fast, because Valiant is the only Pokemon on this team that isn't slow.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess Raichu as
like-
well. I guess, but Raichu's like a bit of a. Weird
Raichu is an average speed Pokemon in this current format. Valiant is only a fast Pokemon because it has access to booster. If it could not booster speed, Valiant would be an average speed Pokemon.
Yeah.
This
okay.
is a very, very fast format.
Yeah, fair
um,
enough.
Like, this format moved average from like 105 last gen to like 115 this gen. Like the average goes from like 60 to 115.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
now-
I think this. I'm a bit more high on it because I think the Iron Valiant is a bit better on this team than I think you think it does. Like it is because it can like leverage its speed.
I didn't say the Iron Valiant is bad. I'm saying that the Iron Valiant should be one of several Pokemon that they add to this team. Look, I don't like. They already have another like 2 other fairy types on this team.
Yeah. What I will say in terms of types,
Both of those
is,
fairy types, I think, are cheaper, and Hatterene definitely makes more immediate sense than Valiant. Also, Indeedee most of the time wants to Terra Fairy, or classically wanted to Terra Fairy. You know, that is definitely different when you have a Hatterene next to it and an Armarouge.
Like
but-
I hate being a bit of a nerd that keeps bringing up types, but like you got one fire resist, and that's Snorlax, which is very conditional.
Yes.
And then one water.
So
resist,
if you're
which
playing
is
a
Bramble
Ogerpon
Blast.
Hearthflame, you have no fire resist.
Yeah, and then there's Bramblegast, which is the
If
one
you're
with water
using
resist.
Gluttony, you have no fire resist.
So like it's a bit. Again, I hate bringing constantly like sort of bringing that up, but I think it's something worth noting with only one.
But also, like, the ground matchup,
It's like it's what Moltres, Galar, and Bramblegast.
sure.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
like, but like Moltres is cool. It benefits from Indeedee
It's
support.
just kicked my ass in a finals game, so
Like, it's definitely not a bad Pokemon, right? It's a good Pokemon, but it's one that is not. It's one that I think has a fairly high skill floor compared to a lot of the things. I would not say. Look, I haven't tried to use Galamalt this gen. It seems to me like it is a lot more difficult to use than it was last generation.
Yeah,
I've seen some Pokemon use it very effectively. I have not seen most people use it very effectively. I've seen a lot of Galamoltreses flop, and I've seen like most of the Galamoltreses pop off towards the end of a season when someone has played like 6 other games and figured out how to use it eventually.
It'll be
so-
interesting to see how it goes.
But yeah, I mostly just think that this team is really physically frail.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's fair.
It's got a number of especially defensive Pokemon. I believe Hatterene is the physically bulkiest Pokemon here, though it may be Tinkaton. Gmalt's also quite bulky.
Yeah, I think
but-
it's probably Gmalt, honestly.
If it was Snorlax, that wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
Gmalt is 90-90, which is average or like good. I don't know. It's definitely decent, right? I don't know if I feel strong about calling it good. And then why did I have 2 other versions open? What was the other Pokemon I was looking at? Oh, Tinkaton. I think Tinkaton's mostly specially defensive as well, right?
Yeah, no, it's Spadef is its.
Yeah, 85-77. So that's comparable to Hatterene's 57-95. I'd say a bit more defensive, but like not good.
Yeah.
Indeedee female 70-65.
I mean, you've got like the seeds, I guess, to sort of help that, like the cycle.
Bramble 55. So the seed boosts special defense.
Oh, it's special defense. Never mind.
Yeah, psychic and fairy boost special defense.
Yeah, never mind then. Gross.
So like this team is very capable of being checked in its strongest options, not its only options, but its strongest options by Wide Guard. It is very capable of being bowled over because a lot of these Pokemon are mons that stand out as Pokemon that have very good special defense and issues on the physical defensive side.
Yeah.
Also, most teams with good dark types are only punished by Valiant on this team because the fairies on this team, like Tinkaton is a flawed Pokemon and is really easy to target down because its weaknesses this team does not match up well into. Hatterene is a good Pokemon, but on this team is really reliant on Indeedee to stop it being targeted down because its weaknesses are really easy to punish in this format. Valiant at least can fairly consistently be faster than the Pokemon trying to punish it, but the fact that it's an expanding force spam team with the Moltres Galar as well, and that's all checked by Dark type, as well as, checked by a lot of good dual types. Obviously they have Tinkaton, but like Steel Fairy is just ridiculous for this team to try and break through. They're hitting it with electric moves and ghost moves. It's a team that I think will struggle into teams that have tools. Like, you can tell a team matchup when this team is going to struggle. Most of the other teams have had the ability to sort of go over the top. That said, where this team has a decent matchup, you don't have to play or build particularly well to capitalize on it. I just don't think this team has enough leverage to reliably play past bad matchups.
Alrighty, okay. I think we'll move on then. That was Boy with a Pittsburgh Poignard. So number 12, we've got Zero Possessed Pumpkaboos. I think. Wait, am I right there? For some reason this seems wrong. It's the right guy. Oh god. Can you make sure this is the right guy?
Yeah, this is the right person.
Cool. Okay.
Sorry, let me look at it. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm looking at my notes. I don't mention any specific Pokemon, but all of the criticism I have is true of this team.
Alright.
So maybe.
Before that happens.
Jay.
Yo.
Best Pokemon here. Go.
I don't.
There's one Pokemon you better not pick.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you wouldn't actually.
She doesn't know any of
I
them.
don't know what Cresselia is, but it looks pretty cool.
She doesn't know what Cresselia is.
Oh, but it looks pretty cool, so it's Cresselia.
Okay.
There we go.
Well, the only one I know Berserker, but
Not a fan.
Sure.
Well, they beat me this one.
Okay, fair. Beaten by Berserk. Alrighty.
Yeah.
So this team.
I would not have guessed.
Really good Trick Room setter and a good
It's
Trick
no
Room move, I guess.
easy.
Yeah, like, I don't know, this...
So my thoughts are this has some incredibly premium support Pokemon. Donatus is a good Tailwind setter. Cresselia is one of the best Trick Room setters in the game. Berserker is a solid Fake Out user. Heatran has a lot of solid support options. Weezing Galar is a great support Pokemon. Now, if we look at the things they use to abuse that support, it's Garchomp, who sucks. It's Heatran, who's okay. It's Arboliva, who conditionally is good, and it's Berserker, who conditionally is good, and it's Araquanid, who is good,
It was broken.
but is very much challenged to, has to be in the right things to be able to take advantage of the qualities of it. This team does not have I will lead a good Pokemon, click Tailwind, and click attacking move, and get a KO. Garchomp will not OHKO an opposing Pokemon unless it is often 4x weak. I think there's a lot of 2x weaks to live. I'm pretty sure you can EV Heatran to live a Garchomp.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. That's a bit of a problem with Garchomp in VGC. So like its two strongest singles, like its two like highest base power singles move, Outrage and Earthquake, have their issues in doubles. That being the ultra spread of Earthquake.
I am correct. You can make
Outrage
Heatran
is
live Earthquake without
Yeah.
needing a Sugar Berry.
Yeah, so that's a bit like that.
So
that does play
Heatran-
in a little bit as like a
Garchomp struggles to kill random Pokemon that are 4x weak to its stab move. So the spread move is not good. Like, Disquake is good because you're clicking both moves. Just Quake is not good.
Yeah.
And Disquake is also not great. Disquake was a lot better in regulations like A, B, and C. Or 1, 2, and C, technically. Like, in Series 1 and 2 and Regulation C, Disquake was really good because the power level was absurdly lower.
Okay.
Garchomp is just not a Pokemon that has kept up, or at least to me, doesn't feel like it's kept up in this current format. It's got, 120 attack?
I don't remember.
130,
I don't know if I'd thrown it on me.
It has no boosting ability. Like, both of its abilities are conditionally okay. Obviously Rough Skin can be very good in very specific matchups. But, like, if you look at how premium these supports are, you wish that they had a low-tier Pokemon that was inconsistent, if not for having premium support. Something like a Rampardos, where it's actually killing something, because it's clicking that 150 base power, 165 attack head smash, not 100 base power Earthquake spread move off of 130 attack, where you have to run Jolly most of the
I
time.
would love a Rampardos here. That would be very cool. It's a very cool Pokemon.
Yeah. Also,
yeah,
I don't know why Garga's on this team.
Like, I think that's accurate. I think it's a lot of Pokemon with really good support, but it doesn't have the best abusers
Yeah.
of said
That's
support.
it. A lot of teams will not be able to break the support options on this team,
Yeah,
and they
it's
will
very-
just
it's very
you throw
broken.
Charge Beam or Cresselia, and it becomes a win condition.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, like, I don't
Dweez
think
is also
Garganacci's a bad Pokemon. It's just...
like they built a team that was really good at clicking Earthquake with Garchomp. Unfortunately, they're clicking Earthquake with Garchomp.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's not like it's exactly passive, but it's not.
It's not passive. It just lacks a premium offensive option, despite having, like, I would say, super premium support options.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Cresselia is one of the best support options in the game. Taunt is a great support option. Weezing is a great support option. You know, Heatran can be a really good support option, though. You can do whatever you want with Heatran. And Berserker was, I think, the best cost for support degree Pokemon, because Steely Spirit boosts Heatran's damage with Seal moves a lot, and it does provide access to Fake Out, which this team appreciates.
Yeah.
But if this team doesn't get Trick Room up, then it's only using Garchomp as a fast attacker, or Heatran, potentially. And, you know, like, Taunt's not bad either, right? But none of them are amazing. And the issue is that the amazing support Pokemon are not backed up with Pokemon that are reliant on amazing support. Garchomp can work with literally any flying type or levitate Pokemon. It does not require you to have a premium support option, and it does not benefit in a way which is like Rampardos goes from a completely unusable Pokemon to one that's really good with good support. Garchomp goes from a decent Pokemon to a slightly more decent Pokemon with good support. And this team really just doesn't have the shape of team to follow up with that support, which is why it's down here at 12. Whereas if they had different offensive options, you know, if this was an Urshifu or something on this team,
Yeah.
this team could easily move up to somewhere like like 4 or 5.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I think it's like a fine team. Just it's got some issues.
It has some incredibly spooky Pokemon
Yeah.
that will be sitting there next to the 3 dead Pokemon, and wondering why your charge beams are not giving you this attack boost. You know,
Alrighty. Next we've got.
because it's not like it's a Tingler either. Yeah.
Next we've got Davey with the Heartpool.
And the Hartlepool Hydration.
Honestly, I kind of don't.
So
I
we
don't like
want
this.
to.
I
No, we want to hear the most important analysis
Oh
first.
yeah. Hey, Jay. Important. No, that's not actually your name. Jay. Important. Best Pokemon. Turtwig? Alrighty, now I'm gonna complain about why Turtwig's stupid here.
No.
Because it's really
But
stupid.
he's the cutest.
It's the same price as Grotle.
Yeah, it's the same price as Grottle, the evolved form. I get Turtwig's cute, just please use Grottle. And I'll tell you why, it's your only water resist. You actually need to bring a water resist. Like Pokemon Heartflame does not resist water.
And if you Terra, it really doesn't resist water.
Yeah.
That's it. Look, technically, Glim is the only fire resist. Now, I do think Ogerpon Heartflame can be counted as a fire resist because it really benefits from Terrestrialization. When I conceive of it, I think of it as a Pokemon that has both the resists of its Grass Fire and its Mono Fire type. In ways I don't think of that with Cornerstone as a rock type or Wellspring as a water type, because Heartflame's very, very consistently strong at taking advantage of that fire type. That said, why'd you spell Hydreigon wrong, Keith?
You know, because I'm bad. This is look. Besides that, this is a kind of fun team. You know, I think they definitely should have gotten a Thundurus.
Where's the Thund
as well?
The answer is that someone took Thundeye before they took Taunt.
Oh, okay, well,
but
that's fair.
no, okay.
So yeah,
I didn't realize you'd forgotten that. But yeah, Glim is cool. King Gambit is cool. Like Taunt's cool. Landawai is cool. Reggie Coughing's funny.
It's a very Reggie Coughing's a very cheap, fun mix-up for this.
It's not that cheap.
It's pretty cheap. Like Coughing.
Like it's cheap compared to like Reggie Wheezing, but it's not cheap compared to. I remember when we first had Reggie Coughing. I think we had Coughing at 2 points.
Yeah.
And Reggie, I think at like 7.
Yeah.
And that was in Dynamax when that was even stronger.
Yeah.
The fact that this gen Body Press has its power halved by Slow Start, not great for little old Harper.
It's not. I didn't realize that. It's not amazing, but Reggie still
I only
has
realized
like
that quite recently.
decent.
I think it always worked like that. It just wasn't appropriately implemented on Showdown.
Reggie's still got decent utility and moves with its
Yeah.
Thunder Wave.
Azelf, Torn, and Lando are all the same Pokemon.
I don't know about that. Lando's
Now,
very
obviously,
much a
Torn does
strong
more
Lando.
than what Lando and Azelf do, but
Like Lando just
they all
clicks
present the
buttons and
same
things die.
threat. Okay,
Yeah.
Azelf clicks buttons and things die. Torn clicks buttons and things get their speed dropped. But like it can kill Pokemon as well, right? None of these Pokemon are flops offensively.
Yeah, fair.
The concern with them would be that they all like get checked by an assault vest sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I do note that like this I think King Gambit needs to be the defensive glue for this team a lot. Limiting
Oh, yeah.
its ability to
King
use
Gambit
Terra.
is the ice resist outside of Regis.
It's the only rock and dark resist. So like again, it's King Gambit. Like a lot of these Pokemon are just annoying jerks. Is the best way of putting them. Like it's a team full of annoying jerks. Especially the top 8. Like they're all annoying and they're all jerks. They all have their own things that just kind of
I
make.
don't think Regis is annoying to play against.
Oh yeah, Regis, I guess as well. Fair enough. The top 9 are annoying jerks. They very much like are gonna force prep. They're gonna do some pretty good stuff in the game.
Yeah.
But just
I mean, there's no good explosion partner, so I don't think Azelf forces different prep to Lando outside of like what speed creep.
Yeah, there's some overlap, which is a bit annoying. I think Azelf is the Trick Room setup technically on this team.
Yeah, it is.
Which,
I don't think this team is particularly reliant on Trick Room. King Gambit is good in Tailwind.
Trick Room, that sort of thing. Like I guess that's
It might do. I don't know.
that's like its niche. You know what I mean? Like that's
It's
where
also
I
got
can sort of see
Taunt,
it.
which is
Yeah.
another way you can stop Trick Room.
Yeah.
As does like several other Pokemon on this team. So just go
That's
to all
fair.
both of them.
Yeah. It's
Ignore the Hatterene team. Just click Mold Breaker Taunt with Ogerpon.
it does. Oh yeah. Ogapon is an annoying jerk. Holy crap.
I found out that Zekrom does not have access to Taunt,
That's very sad.
despite having what's it called?
Terravolt?
Terravolt. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was quite heartbreaking.
Alright.
Yeah, look, I think this team is fine. Like this is a team which is solid. It struggles in terms of not having a very wide threat bubble, but the threats it has are very high. It's just that there's really like 3.5 main threats on this team. There's Ogerpon, there's King Gambit, there's the 3 fast special attackers, and then to some extent there's like Reggie and Glim, who are none of them are bad, but none of them necessarily are like, okay, this is a Pokemon I'm immediately worried about. They're both fine, but they're not like game ending.
Alrighty. I think we can move on to number 12. Trey, the Indianapolis Infinix.
I think this is the team, which was relatively early on in the teams that we looked at, where we spent like half the time, okay, is this team better or worse than Trey's team?
No, this is Trey's
I remember
team.
this and one other team. With Trey. Like, when we were looking through teams, we spent so much time looking through Trey and one of the other teams that are coming up, being like, okay, is this team better or worse than Trey's team?
Kind of a,
And Trey's team was close a lot of time. What's right?
Like it was
Yeah,
a benchmark.
it very much served as a benchmark, as the like yardstick through which we were thinking about other teams.
Yeah.
So the first thing someone may notice about this team is if you look at it, you have, okay, incredible special attacker Flutter Mane. Pokemon that mostly run special moves, but often, support moves, but sometimes special, and, Assault Vest has seen play on Amoonguss. Pokemon that is an incredible special attacker, Arcaludon. Pokemon that is a good physical attacker, but also a pretty reasonable special attacker, Arcanine. Very good special attacker, Farigiraf. Ting-Lu. So all those Pokemon are bad. Dustrock, who is a Pokemon in this format. Vaporeon, who is also a good special attacker, and Staravia, who has access to Intimidate and Tailwind, and also is stronger than a surprisingly large amount of Pokemon because of
High
what's it
base power
called?
moves and Reckless. Maybe.
Yeah, Reckless Brave Bird.
But also importantly, Jay.
Yeah.
It's the best Pokemon here.
Vaporeon.
Do you want to say why? Because I'm fairly sure.
No.
What was the quote?
I think we know. I think we're aware of why.
Something about what was it? Something about
What was the slippery?
Vappy connoisseur? Something about
The long, slippery, full mobility control.
yeah, something about a fellow you're a fellow Vappy fuck connoisseur.
A thick, powerful tail.
And he always kicks ass.
Yeah. Look, this team. Let's
Kicks
get.
ass and he's got a nice laugh.
You're really not fighting the Vaporeon allegations very much, are you?
Sorry, I've checked, and Staravia is about as strong as a non-terrid halfling.
Yeah, well, there you go. Sure, good. This team, I think it's kind of what Mr. Electric said. There's a lot of special attack, or a decent amount of special attack, with the Pokemon that doesn't really synergize that
says
well
no.
with the special attack.
So then you don't
which
want to
makes
bring
it a
things
bit
despite
awkward
it
in terms of
being kind of
positioning and
important.
stuff. The positives wise, so there is a lot of premium.
Also, it
mods
doesn't
here.
have a good rain setter with like Calyodon, which is the main thing.
Yeah.
At least the main thing I think of with a Calyodon is whatever it's called, the one that gives you +1 special attack.
Yeah. But you can run that with like Power Herb, I guess. Like it's got
Yeah.
good speed control. It's got like the ice.
You can also just run a choice phase and
It's
click a
got Trick
stab
Room for a
move.
giraffe. Like
I mean, look, Amoonguss Farigiraf, very difficult to prevent Trick Room in that situation. You just have to have a grass type that has access to Taunt, and then a Pokemon with Terra Grass that has access to Taunt,
yeah,
or Imprison Trick Room.
yeah.
You can get Sport on your Imprison Trick Room mod. It just needs to not faint.
Yeah, it's very very tough.
I don't know why. Like Trick Room isn't like Calyodon and Tinglu are okay in Trick Room. Vaporeon is usable in Trick Room. Amoonguss is the best Trick Room setter, like abuser, and it's not an amazing one by any means. These
but
Pokemon are
still-
not Trick Rooms. Like this is not a team that is reliant on Trick Room.
It's still got good like
It's not bad. It's just not a team that we're like, okay, I look at these Pokemon and remove Farigiraf and be like, oh yes, this is a Trick Room team. Sometimes the Flutter may have to run Trick Room because they didn't pick up a Trick. No, Trick Room is good on this team, but it's not like a be all or end all. I feel
that's fair.
like the quality of Farigiraf as an imprisoned Trick Room mon is like even expressed pretty significantly in this matchup. Team.
Yeah, it's a lot of good mons on their own, but I think the Tinglu really is anti-synergistic with this. And again, this is me putting up my
I considered
glasses
picking
going,
up Tinglu.
I'm actually about typing, but
So
this
I had a
has
bunch of
Staravia as
special
the ground
attackers.
resist.
I considered picking up Tinglu. I did not pick up Tinglu.
This has Staravia as the ground immunity and no resists. So
Yes.
again, it just
And pretty
I hate that I
significant
have to keep
Pokemon
bringing
that are
this
weak
up.
to ground.
yeah, like I hate that
Like Calyodon and Arcanine are impactful ground weaknesses.
yeah,
They're
I hate that I have to
Pokemon
keep bringing it up.
range
Jesus
to your
Christ.
team of 6. For one thing, 9 Pokemon.
Yeah.
And
That is, I
2
guess,
of them are quite bad.
the downfall of 9-1. Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know. It's a
Our
bit-
next team.
Yeah, the next team is number 9, Raw of Goomy with the Oakland Omanyte. So Jay is currently not next to me anymore. I'll get her opinions later on the Pokemon. But my opinions of this team is that this is a team that has like just ridiculous amounts of premium priority. You've got like it's just got a ton of really good priority moves. You got the Raging Bolt with its like electric sucker punch. You got extreme speed, Hark. You've got the Grassy Glide, Rillaboom. That's really good. And then it does have good speed control options as well. You've got Murkrow with the Prankster Tailwind. Mesprit's an okay Trick Room setter. Yeah, it's just there's a lot of good. It's got like Unburden Hitmonlee.
Yeah.
So like it seems like
I
they
remember-
put it be a pretty mediocre speed wise of like nothing's that fast, nothing's that
Yeah.
fast, but it just has so much speed control options and priority and
Yes.
all sorts of things that
But-
really doesn't matter, and it's quite cool.
The
with that.
issue I had with it, was that the priority is really premium, right? The priority is really good. Primarina is good at neutral. Woodhammer is good on Rillaboom at neutral. Stab moves are good at Arcanine on neutral. Outside of that, this team's neutral speed matchup is not very good, right? Copperage is very slow, and if it's in Trick Room, then like that's fine. But the
Yeah.
other Trick Room ones are not amazing.
Yeah,
They're prim.
Camerup's decent.
It was good.
I like Camerupt.
No, it's not.
I like Camerupt.
Camerupt is not a Pokemon that you're like, okay, I want to drop my Harkanine for a Trick Room Camerupt, right?
Yeah.
Or my Raging Bolt. So this team just sort like it has really premium priority, but it doesn't have a great
It
depth
also has
of
Staunch
neutral
on it
damage.
with the premium priority, by
Staunch.
the way, which is very
Yes.
funny.
Though not always particularly impactful, because Staunch is better on like spread moves than most other options. Just sort of the thing of it. Also, they already have like another rock type, so it's not like Staunch adds a different
Yeah.
degree of depth. It just adds more power.
Yeah.
And they have access to Helping Hand, which is a great, like even more power, which is why like it's fine. Like I don't know why they have Tailwind when they have like 2 Pokemon that want to click moves at neutral priority.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, I
Yeah,
don't,
like yeah.
I don't mind.
So
like,
that was the main whole back out on this team.
Yeah.
Like it has some decent speed control, not the most premium, not the most broken speed control, but it is very good. Prankster Tailwind is always good, and Mesprit is a reasonable Trick Room setter. It has like really good fake out. It has absurdly good priority. I just question its ability to pick up knockouts. It's really good at following up, but if they are, doing 80% to a Pokemon, and then they can follow it up with a Raging Bolt. The great news is that Raging Bolt came in because your opponent KO'd your Pokemon.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess. Yeah.
So, they have to make sure that they are, like, sort of making like that frame perfect plays, because if they are on the back foot, like it's really easy, really, really easy for this team to close up games while they're ahead, but more of a challenge for this team to be able to come back, because a lot of their Pokemon struggle to some extent at neutral priority.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
That said, I would say much stronger at neutral priority than something like the Pumpkin Boost we had a while back, where like after Garchomp, their next strongest physical attackers, Araquanid was also good, were like Berserker and Heatran, and then
Watch the
Garganacl.
latest A to Z on the Mancini Amazing channel to see the power of Araquanid.
Yes, I don't know if that I don't know when this video will come. You tend to release videos pretty late, but
Just
if
because
it's
you're
out,
right doesn't mean you're true.
that's true.
Alrighty.
Yeah. So team is fine. Team is nine is very high.
Alrighty. Yeah. No, it's pretty good. It's like pretty. Yeah. It's like the good teams are really good. I think this is.
If this team had pre-nerf Grassy Glide on Rillaboom, it's straight into number 1.
Yeah.
That said, if Rillaboom was pre-Grassy Glide nerf, it would be the best Pokemon in Draft, beating out Iron Hands.
Alrighty. Number 8 that I went to was Kirkwhack. Photo in my camera roll. Great team name, great team logo. Love it.
The question is, who is the best Pokemon on the team?
Well, I don't know if Smeagol's
No,
any
Jay,
good.
Jay.
Oh yeah,
Jay.
Jay's still not here. Don't worry, she'll go back and she'll do number 9 as well.
Oh, she's left.
Yeah, she's disappeared. She's left me. It's over.
That's
AMA.
I did not know that she left. So I have a very extensive list of comments on this team. It is by far the shortest. It's Gouging Fire is really good, full stop.
Well, look, I guess I want to talk about... Okay, we're going to not talk about Smeagol. First, I'm going to talk about the rest of the Pokemon. Gouging Fire is really good. Like, there are a lot of really good Pokemon here. Like, Gouging Fire, Gyarados, Sandy Shocks, and Meowscarada are all, like, very good offensive Pokemon that can
Alola
also
Ninetales is cool. Or,
Alola Ninetales with them is very
Gouging
good as
Fire,
well.
Gyarados, and Sandy Shocks were all premium setup Pokemon that are tanky and able to do it.
And they can take advantage of...
Now, what setup move does Sandy Shocks click? Here's the quiz.
Body press. Iron defense. Iron defense body
Yep.
press. True fans
Broken.
know. They also have Klefki with dual screens. Now, the overlap of Ninetales and Klefki is a little interesting because, like, that's...
Also with Klefki, Ninetales, and Smeagol.
Yeah. Like, it seems like... I think the theory is, like, okay, well, Smeagol can do other stuff. With we don't know what Smeagol is going to do, because
Smeagol has access to, like, every move except for Revival Blessing, Dark Void, and the Hooper moves? I think Hooper's in the game. Yeah, Hooper's in the game. I don't know if there's another move it has access to, like, it doesn't have access to that's around.
Anyway, but yeah, Smeagol. The thing with Smeagol is I don't fucking know how good this Pokemon is, in a draft format. Like,
yeah, well, no, so, like, my concern is that, okay, Smeagol is, like, a really, really flexible, support option. Klefki is a really flexible support option. Ninetales is a really premium support option. they provide often fairly similar support, and
But
I
it's
also
better
don't know
than
how important it is with these other Pokemon. Like, I feel like Alola Ninetales covers every single thing that this team needs in front of support, and maybe having a more offensive fake out
Yeah, that would be.
option
That might be nice.
would be good, because I honestly hate
Uh-oh.
clicking.
Either your internet's dying or my internet's dying. Okay.
Doesn't
So we're having some
Hey.
technical difficulties. Yeah, nice elevator music. And we're back. Alrighty. I don't remember where you're up to. We're talking about Smeagol.
Also, Solosis is broken. Dude, that's the Jeopardy thing.
Oh, there you go. We're talking about
Smeagol. Well, no, we're talking about Smeagol and Klefki, and I
Yeah.
don't know why they're both on this team.
Yeah, no.
Smeagol's good. It's Terra Starstorm is the other move it can't copy. Also, the Talk moves, which honestly, I think they should have let it copy the Talk moves
Talk moves?
from the like the Starmobiles.
Yep.
Do you know what a Starmobile is?
Yeah, I've played the game, don't worry. Yeah, like, I don't know, it's a bit hard to talk about this team, because I don't know how good Smeagol is, and Smeagol's pretty important for this team, I feel, because it's the most expensive Pokemon on this team. And, yeah, like, I don't know. But I think, ignoring it, I think the other Pokemon are pretty good, this team synergizes pretty well. Smeagol can it doesn't have to really do anything specifically on this team, which is kind of nice, so it can be as annoying and as unpredictable as possible, and I think he should run Protect, Substitute, Moody, Smeagol every single week ever possible.
But they nerf Moody.
It's still fine. He's still the one you run.
It no longer increases the accuracy of
Like accuracy.
Actually, what is the highest accuracy? Is Hypnosis the highest accuracy non-powder sleep move in the game?
No, Grass was.
Grass Whistle is not in the game. It was cut last gen.
Oh, before, hey, Jay, come back. I need two big questions for you. First of all, important. Best Pokemon here.
I like Murkrow.
I'm judging.
Murkrow?
I think he was my first.
Okay,
shiny.
that's fine.
Oh, there you go. And then, for this one.
That's hard.
Murkrow is my first shiny in Pokemon
Maybe
Go.
Ninetales?
Yeah.
Alright, thanks.
Ninetales. That's a good one. Good pick. Okay.
Let's move on, actually. We'll get you to do one more than rapid fire while you're here. Alrighty.
Okay.
Number 7, iPad Bigfoot.
Something shiny.
What's
Sorry,
your-
just very, very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
This team has insanely good Pokemon, Gouging Fire, Gyarados, Sandy Shocks. It's a very strong team.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really good team. I think it sort of... Yeah. But anyway, she said Clefable was the best one. Number 7, iPad Bigfoot.
I didn't say it was the best. I said I liked.
Well, you know, close enough. Yeah, iPad Bigfoot, Illuminati. Let's do this. Where were we?
This team has really, really strong offense.
Yeah, it's basically offense the team. Look, negatives wise, I guess I'll start with that. There's not a single resistor fairy, and there's no amazing fairy killers. Besides, like, I guess Overquill?
Overquill.
Yeah.
And Urshifu is the fairy killer.
Yeah.
That works out so well when they have like a prim.
The double follow me, it's pretty neat, I think, because...
Means you can set up with Ogerpon
Yeah.
or Belly Drum with Clefable.
Yeah.
If you're
cool.
clicking a different setup with Clefable, don't click Follow Me next to it. Just click the move.
Yeah. Blaziken might be interesting here, because you got follow me, so we can, like, set up and be annoying.
Urshifu might be interesting here because it's got Follow Me, so you can set up and be annoying. Goth might be interesting here because you've got Follow Me, so you can set up and be annoying.
Yeah, so just a lot of you can set up and be annoying things here.
Zab's a really good Tailwind setter on this team.
Yeah.
This team also has like fairly comprehensive offense. There's not really a whole lot that it struggles to break outside of Fairy.
Yeah. I think it's just the Fairy type that's going to give this team an issue.
Yeah.
Like,
Unfortunately,
moves.
Terrestrialization exists.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Zapdos is a really good special attacker. And then Blaziken can also be a good special attacker.
Yeah.
And that makes up for what some other teams where they haven't had that just premium special attacker. Zapdos is good. Yeah, no, that said,
Zapdos.
this team also doesn't have an electric immunity, which was
I think
annoying for it. Its rock resist is just Urshifu as well, right?
I've heard Zapdos described as the most pretty good Pokemon of all time because in every single meta in it, it's pretty good. And on this team,
Okay,
guess what?
that's-
It's pretty good. Oh,
I have
pretty
I have
good might
one
be
I have
the-
one counterpoint.
Yes, it's better than pretty good, but you know what I mean.
Like I quite know you.
Yeah, I think that might be the one exception.
I don't think it liked singles with infinite sand that much.
It's good in black and white draft though. So yeah, I don't know. It's not that much really to say about this team because I think it's a very offensive team that can. Yeah, it's a very offensive team, but it has pretty obvious defensive weakness to the fairy type moves.
Yeah, but like Zapdos it is a good Pokemon. It makes this team able to turn into a mid-range team really easily. It's a really good tailwind setter. Shifu is very capable of getting into positions where its defensive capacity is taken advantage of.
Yeah.
As well as like Terra Water is good. None of these Pokemon are terrible. It does have access to Intimidate with that Overquill as well, which is nice. It's just a team which is good and is able to pick its matchups well because of Gothitelle. I think we haven't spoken on Gothitelle much, but basically every Pokemon on this team, with I'd say the exception of Clefable, benefits from having Gothitelle next to it.
Yeah, like Gothitelle's really good for trapping Pokemon.
Its Fake Out and Helping Hands are also really significant for being able to pick which Pokemon you want to delete on the opponent's team. And these Pokemon are all mons that have a lot of naturally good matchups, and then their bad matchups are very punishing. So being able to limit your opponent's ability to select those bad matchups is good.
Yeah. Righty.
Sorry, I think I had one other note.
So it seems like a very annoying Pokemon to prep.
If your opponent has a if your opponent has like a faster Fake Out Pokemon though, turn 1 can go really wrong for you. Was my main concern with this. Because it like has Pokemon that struggle with taking hits twice, and it doesn't have speed control to make it so its Pokemon can reliably not get hit twice. So they're just really just using their slower Fake Out on Goth. That's it. Goth is amazing. Watch How Not to Draft League.
Alrighty. Number 6.
Rizzo! Oh my god.
Rizzo!
Now, we would not spell it like this, but we would pronounce it the exact same way. Just be Rizzo! The Rizzler.
He does
Known for having Riz.
Yeah, very much so.
Now.
The king of this server or something. I think it's what Lord Mayor.
The Grand
King?
Fuba, I believe.
Yeah, the executive, the CEO.
I thought the CEO was Tech. No.
No. He's the CFO. I don't know the difference between them, but there technically is.
No, F is financial.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't let Techno run the money.
He doesn't.
That was Bagel John. I don't know if Bagel John's still with stuff or not.
No. Anyway, from the Hell Creek Head Smash. So this Pokemon has. This team has Oakmon Wellspring, and
This team does not have Tyrantrum.
So this is another team that has double what do you call it?
Redirection.
Double redirection, and like this team, both the redirections can also set up. So yeah, like you can lead both, and they can literally both have redirection and setup, and then you can just go, okay,
or you
well,
can just
based on
bulk up and Quiver Dance, right?
Yeah, like it's quite cool. That's quite a cool combination. I quite like that. And then you've just got like good Pokemon, really.
And Zoroark.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean,
This team doesn't really have a great slow mode. Scrimtail is a good Trick Room setter, even as a fast Pokemon. Mudsdale is good in slow, but this team doesn't really have other slow. Altaria
it's Mudsdale
is not
the
that
next
slow.
slowest one is Altaria, yeah.
At 80, right?
Yes. Basically,
That's
all
not
of these
like-
team speeds are in the same, 20 points. And,
Yeah, which is a reasonable range. And, obviously they're fast, which is good.
And you got Roaring Moon, that's got, Tailwind.
It's better than all being
and
between
those
60 and
things.
80, but
Yeah, for
still
sure,
being
for sure.
between, 100 and 117, I think,
Yeah.
is awkward.
Yeah. And so, again, I'm going to be a nerd with typings here, so it's got, one resist to a couple of types, which is a bit of an issue, so I think it's, 1 to fairy, 1 to normal
That's it.
dragon and flying. But like,
Several of those like 1 resists are good Pokemon.
yeah,
Flying not. Flying is a real concern for this team, and I think it's
Yeah.
sort of why this team is where it is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like, yeah, no, I
this
think,
team has 3 really good flying weaknesses.
yeah, and then there was
And
just Jolteon, which is a good.
You can't turn
Pokemon,
Wellspring
but it's-
into a flying resist.
Yeah, yeah.
This team is also like kind of bug weak. There are a lot of like compositions of this team that are bug weak.
That's a weird thing to say.
Yeah, but like the bug resists are Zoroark, Mienshao, and Altaria.
Yeah.
So if you're not bringing Altaria, Zoroark is not a real bug resist, and Mienshao is only a real bug resist if the bug is special and you have an Assault Vest.
Oh, actually, wait.
And then Volk, sorry.
Important.
Volk is the main bug resist, but it's also a Pokemon that's very pressured to
Why
Terra.
did you make that noise?
My music.
Like,
Oh,
ah!
Gosh,
Best
really not a
Pokemon
fan
here.
of the
Altaria.
Pokemon resist drafted, huh? Altaria? Okay.
What?
Altaria.
Altaria. Okay, I really thought it would be Jolteon. There you go.
I like Eevee, but
Yeah.
I like Altaria.
There we
I think
go.
Altaria's
They-
better.
Cool.
She likes Eevee, but there's not. She never wrote an extended, several paragraph long copy pasta about Jolteon.
Yeah, that's true. There was no copy pasta about Jolteon year is there? Oh, you fellow Spike enjoyers. It just doesn't go the same. You know? Yeah.
That's just too shocking.
And look, you know, it's a bit like, you know,
That's the silence.
the soldiers without guns with Jolteon, right?
Also,
No, don't. Yeah, I think that's really, I think that's a pretty good analysis of this team. It's good.
Yep.
It's good, it's got some issues, which I really think sort of separate it from the top
Oh yeah,
five.
sorry. My main concern with this team is basically every Pokemon that's strong on turn 1 is doing that with a Life Orb or with a Terra Water on Wellspring.
Yeah.
That was the
Oh,
main
I guess,
difficulty, or like using Terra or using a Life Orb. Like Volcarona is good, but you know,
I mean, I guess
this
you
isn't
could
Gen
do, like,
5. Flame
plus
Plate or
attack.
an Insect Plate
I think-
don't immediately win, like
Yeah.
reliably get KOs on turn 1.
like, I
Roaring
guess
Moon is really reliant on
booster, energy
booster
as well, I
attack
guess.
or often booster attack and Terra with the acrobatics
Yeah.
to get the KO on turn 1. Often just the acrobatics Terra won't get the KO. Often the crunch won't get a KO. Scale Shot can. And then like Wellspring always has the 1.2x boost, but a lot of power whips aren't getting Urkos, and you need the like Terra Water Ivy Cudgel to sort of make up that difference sometimes.
Yeah.
And Mienshao, Reckless High Jump Kick can, but
Having said that,
It has
like,
other
turn
issues.
2, half of these Pokemon set up and then they get all the kills, so...
yeah. So that was the other thing, is that
Yeah.
it doesn't have an insanely good immediate turn 1. Okay, I just delete a Pokemon outside of Mienshao High Jump Kick.
Yeah.
Everything else requires like a greater degree of control, which is fine. But it's just why it's at 6 and not 1, right?
Yeah, really. It's just we're splitting a lot of hairs for some of these.
Yeah.
Number 5, Logice, the hedonistic Honchcrows. Now that's a name. This team.
Honestly, I don't know if the hedonism is necessarily communicated in the logo.
Yeah, but it sounds nice. Look, I think
Yeah,
I don't
so
really
we
like how
have.
this team was constructed, to be honest.
So there are 2 Pokemon I'm not crazy on this team, but every other Pokemon on this team I am crazy on.
I really just like the idea of
This is a team where
Oh,
Regieleki
wait.
looks genuinely decent.
important. Jay,
you probably know which one.
Torracat, Strudel. Which one?
Sylveon.
There you go. Okay, Sylveon.
So what you're telling me is I should be looking for, you know, like a long ribbony appendage.
Yes. You know, they can tie people up, you see.
Oh, would not be shocked by it.
The ribbons on.
Oh.
So this team, I think, the best way I can describe it is a team that just keeps switching out, which, like, that sounds,
It works well.
Yeah, like, I didn't think that
So-
spam works in VGC,
So,
but
so
there you go.
what we will say, to be very specifically clear, Pokemon on this team that can gain an advantage, like it can like do damage to the opposing team, not just like develop their own side, by clicking switching moves. Regieleki is an incredibly premium Volt Switch Pokemon. There'll be a lot of teams without Lightning Rod. You Volt Switch a Pokemon, even if it's a resist, it's taking like 20-30%. And then you're also developing other Pokemon in this team. Palafin Flip Turn is okay in Baby, and it's really good in Max.
You kind of have to run Flip Turn.
Shifu U-turns are good.
Yeah.
Corviknight can U-turn effectively, Torracat can U-turn or Parting Shot effectively. And then, you don't love Baton Passing with Sylveon, but it is an option. And then getting Crook or Torracat in for Intimidates is good. Getting Palafin out and then back in is really good. But most importantly, getting Sinistcha in and healing these Pokemon up is really good.
Yeah. It's really, I just love
Steve's just synergy
of the team. Yeah, it's just really good sort of synergy. And it does have a lot of power as well. Like, it can do that, or it can just punch you in the face with their
you can just, hey, this is an Urshifu Regieleki lead that's following up with like Sylveon and Torracat or Crocodile.
Yeah.
And just clicking offensive moves, not even bothering the Palafin switch stuff, right?
Yeah.
This team has a really strong offense, and it has a really strong mid-range, and it also has a really strong late game. And being able to combine all three of those makes for a really good team. That said, I don't think any of these are necessarily immediately winning. Like, right? It's something when you are clicking a Volt Switch with Regieleki into a neutral target, you are putting yourself in a position where you're reliant on your opponent not clicking the super effective move on the Pokemon coming in, or even just a strong stab neutral move.
There's going to be a lot of reads and mind games and stuff with this team.
This team is in a position where it is pressured for, like, if your opponent's playing the mind game, you also have to play it.
Yeah.
Like, your opponent can demand that of you. You don't really have anything. Like, you really only have Corv as a sort of take-all-hits mon. And Corv is not an amazing take-all-hits mon.
Yeah.
It is, and mostly because it doesn't really pressure them the following turn. But it is fine. Like, it's definitely not bad. And then, like, the next best take-all-hits mon is Torracat and then Sinistcha. But Sinistcha doesn't benefit from its own hospitality, so it's less good at it than Corv.
You can set Tailwind with this team, you can set Tricker with this team as well.
Yeah, like, and you can just E-Web with Aleki.
It's got E-Web with it, so it's got good speed control as well. Like, it's
got good speed control, though its speeds are not great. It goes from Regieleki to Palafin.
Yeah, that's a bit meh. And I think sort of what's keeping this team at 5.
Also, just that the other teams are very good.
Yes, I quite like the team a lot. We've also got Strudel, Agent Strudel, one of the greatest Pokemon of all time.
Encore.
It's got priority parting shot, sir.
That's true. And also, they have priority parting shot and regular speed parting shot.
Yeah, exactly.
That said, I would say that Weathers and Encore are the main things I think of with Strudel.
Yeah, and you can run.
And they're good. Let's get Tailwind.
No.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Well, I don't understand the distribution of Tailwind.
Bro, if it did, Strudel, number 1.
Ladder, that's okay. It's got Acid Spray, which is nice, though.
Ladder.
75 is pretty good. To Trudel to rank 1.
Yeah. Alrighty. You cool to move on?
Yeah, well, I think this team is very well rounded.
Number 4, we've got Quill. This is one of from Lunatic. This is one of the best, like sort of
and as you can see,
and logos I've ever seen in my life.
11 Pokemon team.
This team is quite cool. I am a big fan of Ursaluna Bloodmoon. I think Ursaluna Bloodmoon is one of the strongest.
All I'm saying is,
like
I have seen the copy pasta you wrote.
Oh, I'm making those daily on the day. I think.
What are you trying to say to me, you little ghost type? I'll have you know, I ran numerous missions against Team Rocket in Kent.
So this team, it's got fast, it's got slow. Like, it's got really good fast, really good slow. Yeah, with Ursaluna, Bloodmoon, and Iron Boulder on both ends of it. But before I keep talking more, we've got something very important. What is the best Pokemon here?
Maybe
Executor?
Yeah.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Eggy supremacy.
Eggy.
No, it's Eggy. Eggy is the baby one, and then Egg is the regular neck one, and then Eggy is this one.
Thank you very much.
Honestly, I think that they should have
Sorry,
made this an evolution to Executor.
You're even going in a second. Cool. Yeah, give it 600 base stats. Why not?
Exactly. Give it the Arcaludon.
Yeah. So I love Ursaluna. And that's part of the reason why this team's so high up here, because I think
I also think Iron Boulder's really good. I have heard some people say Iron Boulder is terrible. I don't know. It seems good.
But yeah, I just like having
Ursaluna and Oranguru are very, very good together.
Yeah. I like having those
This team's
two...
fast mode is really strong.
Yeah.
Charizard, Alolan Raichu, Iron Boulder are all Pokemon that are good in a fast mode. Also, Alolan Raichu can set up electric terrain for Iron Boulder, which is cool. Samurott is fine in a fast mode.
Yeah.
Cobalion is fine in a fast mode. Pheasantipity is good support in a fast mode.
I don't know how
that said,
Pheasantipity, to be honest with you.
Okay. And Sableye is good in everything, because Sableye is good. And then, if you look at the slow mode in this team, it's really good. Oranguru and Executor are both good Trick Room setters. Ursaluna's are really good Trick Room abuser. And Eggy itself is a fine Trick Room abuser. Not to mention, Hisuian Samurott can easily fit into Trick Room against a lot of faster teams. And Scraggy is no slouch when it has access to stab close combat.
Yeah, it's a very classical Tail Room team, and I quite like it. And again, a lot of that I think is just because I really like the two first Pokemon, and then like the decent sort of follow-up power options, but also the really good support that this team has. Like your Oranguru, your Sableye, like Pheasantipity. Like there's just so much Pheasantipity, Scraggy. There's so much really good support here that just can tailor itself to every matchup. Yeah, I think this team's quite cool. Do I have any other notes besides just how cool Ursaluna is? Yeah, no, really, that was it. Literally all my notes talking about how I think Ursaluna Blood Moon's really good and better than regular Ursaluna.
Yeah, this team is, like, there are a number of teams on this list. There are some of these teams that are really good, even into Scrappy Ursaluna. A bunch of these teams are absolutely terrible into Scrappy Ursaluna. Like, they just do not take normal moves well at all. Like, some of them struggle to take normal moves from Pokemon without Scrappy, but, you know, when they're Misdreavus, is suddenly bearing the full brunt of it.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
Yeah, like I just came off a very successful season with Ursaluna Blood Moon. It's cracked.
Yeah, like that. You know, George's team literally only has Misdreavus as a normal resist.
Yeah,
that's dying to blood. I don't know if it is. Everything else is though.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's I think I really don't think there's that much to really talk about with this team. I just think it is a very well constructed team.
Any like further elaboration would probably just be explaining the individual Pokemon that are good. Sun and Sableye as well is the other thing we didn't mention.
That's true. But like every single there is a.
You can also run screens and harvest.
Yeah,
and
you can. Like I just think every Pokemon here is good, usable, bringable to a lot of games, and it's I think I don't think.
I think I also have Iron Boulder to memory. Is that this league?
What?
I think so.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Jelly Jam.
3. Jelly Jam, the Cornerstone Shoppers.
Store.
Let's go. Corner Store, sorry. Yeah, this is a
So what's Jay think?
Team. I hate everything, and I hate this team, and it's 3.
Okay, but what does Jay think?
Oh yeah, best Pokemon. What is the best Pokemon here? You might not know any of these Pokemon.
Maybe Skiploom.
Okay.
Go on, Skiploom. Skiploom. Skiploom.
Yeah?
Yes.
So what is it then? Gardevoir.
No, I'm sorry. You gotta break up. Didn't pick Skiploom.
Look, I understand Skiploom's the greatest Pokemon, but that's not happening.
Look, I didn't say that for any of the other things, but for one thing, the Gardevoir take.
Litleo evolves into Pyro. He's up there too. Okay.
That's a reasonable take. That said, it's still Skiploom. That said, on this team, Skiploom is the best Pokemon, shortly followed by Gholdengo and then Dondozo.
I don't like Tatsutozo teams.
Sorry, so this is also one where I have notes that I would like to quote in full.
Okay.
Jelly Jam, much like the aforementioned American Sandwich, this team is nuts, but actually I like you.
Yeah, Grimmsnarl's really good. I don't like.
Also, you have failed to mention Regidrago.
Yeah. Well,
also Kilowattrel.
Okay. So we got the Tatsudozo, right? Tatsudozo, that's cool.
You have Skiploom there to support Kilowattrel.
Yeah. Then you've got Kilowattrel, which is a pretty good sort of
Tailwind Mon, and your Grim
It's also got Volt Absorb, which
and-
is good with the Dozo.
Yeah, and both of those can really sort of work with
Dozo is a better
and
Earthquake user than Garchomp.
really just enabling them. Yeah, that's it, and it's just gonna. This team is gonna be really annoying to prep against because it's Tats Dozo.
And like you can use Dozo and beat teams with Dozo without having Tatsugiri,
Yeah.
which is like something this team is very capable of doing.
Yeah,
You have to remember that Tats Dozo is by no means the scariest thing. The scariest thing of this team is the Goldango, who is even better than Tats Dozo in a number of matchups. And any matchup where you're like building for Don Dozo, you're probably losing the Goldango because you're like, for one thing, investing a bunch of physical defensive bonds. You're probably using status moves that good as gold completely blanks. But not just that, you're probably running matchups into like defensive matchups into types that either Dozo can punish, with predominantly I think with Earthquake punishes a lot of the things that resist Goldangos, make it rain, but also just I think everything, right?
Yeah.
Is there a type that resists? Oh yeah, water. But then you're using your water type as your Goldango and Don Dozo check. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to go well. It is not an easy team to check even on paper. That said, I think with the prevalence of knockoff in this format, a lot of the best ways that Dozo could beat its checks was by running an item and an ability. You pick the right item and the right ability, and then you are able to overcome them. Knockoff means that, okay, all of a sudden I'm losing to Spore and Sleep Powder from opposing teams and stuff like that. Often it was like, in prep, if you could pick the perfect item, Terra type, and ability, okay, it's like, I'm immune to burns, I'm immune to sleep with grass, and then I've got like a clear amulet so that they can't be what's the -2 attack one? Charm spamming against me. And then it's like, okay, now with my Dozo, or they're going to use Mirror Herb, so I am unaware. Dozo is a Pokemon that really depends on all of the factors that get built up on a Pokemon. And it is a Pokemon that takes a decent amount of prep to 6-0 teams, but my gosh, you can just be completely incapable of it. And that does become harder with knockoff, because if you knock off that clear amulet, they are now getting charmed.
For sure.
Or intimidate cycles as well. We've seen a few teams do that. I do think this team would benefit from Intimidate. That is, I think, the main sort of concern or issue I would have. I think with an Intimidate Pokemon on this team, Goldango would be more sustainable, and you'd be less reliant on Scream's Grim, which can be awkward to place on a Dozo team.
Yeah.
But not bad.
That makes sense. Alrighty. Number 2, we good to move on?
Yep.
Number 2?
Did you have any final comments about Jelly?
No, really. I just thought... I see
Kicks
Tappy
the
Dozo
Sun
in
Gazers.
my mind.
Also, it's an 11 Pokemon team, which means it's good.
Yeah.
Now, Kick Sun Gazers is not an 11 Pokemon team, so it's actually secretly worse. But
This is a cute pen. But we need the best Pokemon for this team. Oh, you don't know many of these Pokemon.
No.
Well, that is the evolution of Primeape.
Oh, okay.
Entei?
Annihilate.
I don't understand Entei.
And deal. Yeah.
I guess. I don't
You know Hentai?
It's really cute.
What is?
Mousehole.
Massold.
I agree.
Yeah, Massold is very cute.
Sorry,
Yeah.
would you mind confirming with her, Keith, that she said she knew Hentai?
It's so cute.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said. Totally, 100%.
Wow.
I would recommend repeating it to her.
Yeah, you said that you know hentai, right?
Yeah. And Entei.
Yeah, I think it's Entei. It's how you pronounce
Yeah.
it.
There's like a classic video which is about the other one while referring to the Pokemon.
Okay. Well, this team, negatives wise, there's only Psychic Resist as Bronzor, but like this is just that's about it. Mouse Ape is just still something crazy. Entei is really good with proper support, and this team definitely fucking has it. Like, an Amorous can abuse the Terra Stella. You got Whimsicott, which is always gonna set Tailwind turn 1, because there's literally no way of stopping it, because it's the fastest prankster Pokemon, and it's got Covert Cloak. Like, you literally cannot stop it from doing what it wants to do. It just, it doesn't understand, it doesn't understand consent, because it will get that Tailwind up. It doesn't, it's all blurred lines. Yeah, really, it's basically just a really, really strong top 7 Samurott and Alcremie are usable, and I guess Bronzor can do a thing. Do you have any issue with what I said?
Look, I don't know if I necessarily agree on the Bronzor can do a thing. It's not terrible by any means. Like Bronzor is only here for Trick Room, and it's predominantly here to counter opposing Trick Room.
Yeah.
That said, it can also work against if you're running into a team that is faster in Tailwind, which this team is struggling to. Did you? Sorry, I may have blinked out of it. Did you mention Terra Stellar on
Yes,
Enamoris?
So Enamoris,
Cool. Yeah,
Terra
that's
Stellar, and also it
but this team is just good.
Like
Enamoris also really benefits from mouse holds. Both Friend Guard and Follow Me are both really impactful for Enamoris, which is frail and struggles to get KOs turn 1.
Well,
this team is
in this league that rely on like Sticky Web and Icy, like fast Icy Wind and Sticky Web.
Did you just say Sticky Web?
Sorry, not Sticky Web. Electro Web and Icy Wind for speed control.
I can make some
and
sense.
Enamoris is really good into that stuff as well.
And
so is
Thund is
Thunderous.
good into them because it has Defiance.
Yeah.
And Annihilate is good into it because it has like Annihilate matches up really well into so many of these teams in the context of being paired with Mousehold and Whimsicott.
Yep. There's nothing you can do. And then there's Entei, and Entei is quite strong.
Also, Alchemy is cool because it makes your partner Pokemon immune to Encore, right?
I don't know. I'll say yes.
Aroma Veil. Yeah, it makes your partner Pokemon immune to Encore. Encore is normally very good against Annihilate.
Yeah.
And also fine against Mousehold.
That's really good. Really good team building then.
Yeah, like this team, like Alchemy makes sense on this team despite being the third fairy type.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just about removing like your opponent's silver bullet. Is the word.
Honestly, I think it is a bit of a toss-up between this one and number one for number one, but you know.
No. I don't know. I think this team is comparably good to sort of like last 4 teams. I think the number 1 team stands almost head and shoulders above.
Well,
it's
the number 1 team then.
All right, and let's start with Jay's perspective, the most important part of the
Destiny, Castelia, Shifu's. Important for the final one. Jay, final time. What's the best Pokemon here? So
I think it's the best of the best.
Well, yeah. So you know you need a really special. So that is the evolution of Ursa Ring, that bear. That's the special type evolution.
I don't know that one.
That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't know that one. You wouldn't know.
Is it Wordeer?
No,
Oh, pow.
Oh yeah, Wordeer. You know Stantler. Stantler evolves into Weirdeer.
I think.
Very important decision.
Dragonite. There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, you guys have heard it. Pow Knight officially the best strategy in the game.
Pow Knight is the best strategy in the game.
Also,
Okay.
they have a million other ways to support Knight, which is Knight's a really good Pokemon when you have a lot of support for it. And Clefairy and Blastoise are both, and Hitmonchan, I suppose, in the same vein, as well as randomly Elekid. I don't know why Elekid's here. Are really good supports for Dragonite. So you know how like multi-scale means you can live random ice moves?
Yeah.
Did you know that stacks with Fredguard?
I did not know that. There you go.
Did you know that taking what is it, 25% damage, or no? I think it might round out to being like 36.5 or something from a super effective move is good.
Yeah.
Did you know taking less damage means that you take less damage?
Oh wow! Just because, wow, you know people
Let's
die
say,
when they're killed, and there are a lot of Pokemon that will die when they are killed by this team.
So I was accidentally calcing level 100 Draco Meteor.
Yeah.
Now how much do you think it's taking from the level 100 Draco Meteor?
Oh, with Friend Guard and multi-scale, probably like 70%.
Yeah, no, it's 50. It's taking 50 to 60 from. It's with an Assault Vest. Sorry, yeah. But that's from the Altaria Draco.
Okay, so Chien Pao, I'll say, is the second best one in the format, probably, maybe.
Nah.
It's
Look, it's definitely
third.
I don't know. I still think Rillaboom is perhaps underrated.
It's
in
a
how
really
it is.
good Pokemon. It pairs up really well with Dragonite.
I think that Chien Pao is undisputedly one of the Pokemon that should be at the most expensive list of Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think that Iron Hands is undisputedly should be there. I think that Ashifu Rapid undisputedly should be there. Chiyu should probably be there. Fluttermane undisputedly should be there. I don't think any other Pokemon fits there.
I
without
really think Chien Pao is
room for
crazy.
debate.
Yeah, so Qian Power really works really well with Dragonite to really just, you know, boost the power of those extreme speeds. And then Clefairy, as with the
Shen
friend-
Pao is also like not bad next
Yeah.
to an Ursaluna.
Definitely not, because Ursaluna can also just destroy people.
And like, I get a Drain Punch boost with Hitmonchan. But then not just that, you have to worry about all that, and also about getting eruptioned by Typhlosion.
Yeah. And even Water Spat, or does Blastoise have Water Spat this gen?
I have no idea.
Check, but if it does have it, there's also the Water Spat Blastoise.
Yeah, I think that's maybe less strong and
I
also
know.
less consistent. But yeah,
But,
Slash, Learn, Blastoise, Water. Spout. I don't think it does.
okay, that's
It does get Shell Smash, which is good.
Yeah, there's Shell Smash, which
Yeah,
is
no, it gets
the-
Water Spout. Water
There you
Spout,
go.
Shell Smash. You
There
guys
you
heard
go.
it here.
Yeah, it's got really good Trick Room setting, and then Ursaluna, to really anchor that Trick Room mode and just destroy people. Whilst I think Blood Moon's a better Pokemon, Ursaluna's still cracked. Yeah, Lekid is like, I don't know why he's here, but besides that, Lekid. But besides that, yeah, this team's kind of insane and good and crazy, and I would hate to find it.
I also think
because-
Bloodier is actually quite solid on this team.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, Intimidate's pretty good for this team.
Yeah,
it has
But
this
also,
crisp-
I just think that it's like having a normal psychic type is just good at being able to pressure some of the more annoying like rapid Shifus or whatever on
Yeah.
the opposing team.
oh yeah, for sure.
Also, Ursaluna's bulletproof, absolutely broken here. It's the only energy pull check. Don't look at the Dragonite.
Or the Bronzor. Or also Bronzor. Or the
Typhlosion.
Sapsipper Wordier. I think it's
No, the energy. Yeah, no. I think this team is just very, very difficult to prep and play against.
Yep.
And you can really run whatever set you want on Dragonite and be able to win most weeks.
For sure.
If you're on specs, honestly, you'll probably still win.
Yeah. Okay.
Make sure you have range on something.
So that was the power rankings that we're finally done.
All right.
Yeah.
And everyone, comment down below about which of the Pokemon that Jay chose as the best Pokemon you think is your best of those best Pokemon. We only
Yeah.
want to hear the best of the best
Okay,
of
no,
the
no,
best.
no. I've got it. I've got
Not
it.
just which
I
ones
want
you like,
someone to
only
make a
ones
list
from that
of
list.
the Pokemon that she selected. That is the 17th draft in this division. How well does it go? Tell me.
It has 16 Pokemon, so probably pretty well.
Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone. We love you.
I don't.
You meant to stop recording.